the edge of the universe, 400 men and women are probing the immeasurable blackness of space. Their leaders are an Earthman with no fear and a stranger with no heart. Travel beyond our time and solar system, into new galaxies, into worlds beyond your dreams. Star Trek, every week, in color.
Hello, it's Tuesday, June 6th. It's 3 p.m. Pacific Earth time. It's time for that show. You know what it is. It's your Friday. It's time to get into that sci-fi mood. It's time to get into serious Star Trek. So let's bring in your host. Wait a minute. Let me hover on out of here. And I'll bring in your hosts, Captain Fun himself, Larry Young, and the Dr. Johnny Price, PhD. Hey, gentlemen.
Yeah. Hey, Dan. Hey, John. This is great.
Hello.
I love that little speeder bike thing you did. That was cool.
That was cool.
Man, I'll have
Looked
to
like
give
old
credit.
man space rocking chair or something.
I got to give credit to I'll have to give credit to the modeler who put this thing out with an open source license.
What's it say on the side? The rocket?
The rocket. It's got some.
It looks kind of like it says the racist, which makes me like it even better.
The racist rocket. That's what it's all about. And holy cow. Wait a minute. Don't look behind the curtain, guys. Sorry.
You should try spinning. That's a neat trick.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yippee!
Yippee!
Anyway, so this is as high end as we can get, guys, on our current budget. But if you out there were to ship some Quatloos our way, who knows? I'd pour all of those resources into just like the most frivolous special effects shots that you could possibly imagine. That's all I want to do.
We will blow all of your money.
I worked on that. The time I spent on this week, I've never been under more pressure from my day job. And but I was literally telling my wife, I'm fighting to save the family this week. Like, if this doesn't work out, it could all be over.
No, you're kidding, right?
No, I was not. The family's not going to end, but I'm
right.
fighting to save my business.
That's crazy, man.
And, but then I would take breaks at my most stressful. I would stop and I would make hover bikes. And I would do this is the stuff. Sometimes during meetings while I'm talking to clients, shh, don't tell anybody.
Whatever, gets you through. Can I was just going to say, I was complimenting you on your host duties, but is it okay if I throw Dave up there? But you did it. Looking good, gentlemen. Dave,
wait a
this is
minute.
cool.
DCPFX.
All three of us are sporting our USS Fred Mertz special design things by Dave. And man,
only I got the hologram version.
I can't tell you how just professional these are with the inset magnets. When I make something, I make sure the outside looks good, and then the back looks like, Dan's tongue.
I'm huge now.
But this is just professional. The inset magnets.
It looks so
design,
good. It's hard to say how good this actually looks.
Yeah, it adds a touch of class to any engagement. And let me just say, I've never had. This might be old hat to some people, but I'm from the Cleasonet pin school with the old stupid thing that you had to stick through your shirt and ruin whatever you're wearing. And we got this beautiful. I've never seen such a great magnetic pin back as Dave gave here. Just little grommets that keep it in place. And thank you, Dave.
You can totally. Dave is such a nice guy too. He's like, oh, my thanks. I'm like, dude, you don't get it. You have our profound thanks. This is just true.
I have only one request for Dave: STL files, please. Or it didn't happen. I would love a file, and maybe we could even share it, and we could spread the love. People could print their own. I could maybe do some blenderizing. I know that I can pull in STLs into there, so that would be incredible. But if it's a trade secret, we understand. You've done enough. I really appreciate.
I don't want to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure he can trust you with it. If you're just going to be doing, importing it into Blender and stuff.
I mean, he's Canadian, so he probably doesn't have a anti-blue agenda like the rest of us.
Ooh, yeah. I have the STL file.
Larry has the STL.
And Chris printed one.
I think Chris has the STL file. If I have the STL file, That's crazy.
All right, well, we'll get Sag on it. We'll put our heads
Sagasag's out there
together.
going rogue.
We'll shake the nerd
Printing his
tree and
own.
see what falls out, how much dandruff falls out of the nerd tree. When you shake it.
0.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not as much anymore. Thanks. We appreciate it, Dave. But so like we've got Star Trek gear, but we don't have too much Star Trek to talk about yet, right? Do we? Or do we, guys?
I have a couple Star Trek related things I would like to convey. And it's actually thematically cool with these new insignias that we got, right? You guys know I love the badges. John shares my love for heraldry and stuff.
Yeah, it's so true.
I just bought a U.S. Air Force AAF patch for to finish up my Hank Marlowe thing from Skull Island, which is not Star Trek, but
which is such an awesome project. When it's done, come on and like show the world because it's an awesome looking project.
Dude, don't tell me, but I bought his Swiss Army 45M magazine thing from somebody in Latvia. And usually I don't do that off of Etsy. It's like if you're in some crazy Eastern European country, I'm not going to pull the trigger, but I found that Yugoslavian hat from Captain I forget his name. The captain in Raiders.
Katanga,
because I thought Mabanga, and I'm like, no, it's not him.
Close.
Katanga.
Similar characters.
I got that from behind the Iron Curtain. I got that cool Nexi clock while the Ukraine was getting bombed. So I'm like, you know what, Latvia, I'm sure you guys are cool too. Thanks. Send me the weird shit that you can't get in America. So we'll see.
Hey, Larry.
Well, yes, sir.
Oh, I heard you went to the grocery store. What happened to your? You're supposed to open with your grocery store.
That was the story. Like, you guys know I love the heraldry. So I made that cool Enterprise jacket, right? I don't like their jumpsuit uniforms, but China had that cool jacket and it was a little dark, but it was, $60. So I'm like, I can take off the stuff and turn that into something. And I made it into an Exeter jacket. So because I got the Enterprise artwork of their patch, their shoulder patch, and then just changed it to X. It's fine, right? But then but I wear it around because I love it so much, and it looks like something, but nobody really gets it, So I go to my regular grocery store. I'm talking to Andy, who's telling me nonsense, and I see some guy out of the corner of my eye, and he goes, "Hey, that's the best jacket ever!" Like in a grocery store, right? So I turn around, and I'm like, "Do you know what this is?" Like, you don't just like. He's like, "Yeah, man, the Enterprise jacket." So he was like two aisles away from me. So I jumped out because we were both bagging our own stuff because these guys are so slow. And so I jump over and I show him. I'm like, "Oh no, man!" He goes, "Exeter, man!" he just like freaked out. And I'm like, "Yeah, man." So we have a show every Tuesday at 3. I didn't have to say Pacific because we were in Chicago. I was like, I mean, in San Francisco. Every day at 3. So, man, if you're the guy that was doing that completely made my month. That's awesome. You got that if you're watching.
It's possible you could be one of the 3 people watching right now, watching live.
Anyway, we'll see. I didn't want to wait until the end, like make the guy wait. And he's like, "Oh, these guys are idiots talking about crap." I liked his jacket yesterday. Anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I made it. It was like the guy had a superpower. I was kind of just like, doing groceries, another errand. Oh my God. And then it just like improved my whole day just by going, "Hey, nice jacket, man."
So Larry,
got it.
Let me ask you something about this badge and the heraldry in general, right? This comes from now correct me if I'm wrong, but you liked it when it was each ship could kind of have their own custom insignia.
Yes,
but that's changed over time.
Yeah, that's the whole problem that John had with John Cooley's nonsense. That
Explain.
It looked like visual storytelling is a thing, right? And so if you have people wearing gold shirts and they're captains, you kind of have to have a different doodad because if you just show up, people are going to go, "How come that guy's wearing Captain Kirk's shirt?" Right? But if it's a different doodad, you don't have to have even a line of dialogue about it. It's like, "Oh, he's like Captain Kirk for the other ship," right? Okay, these guys have arrowheads and these guys have rectangles or seashells or whatever, right? It doesn't make any sense to go, "Oh, everybody's got this now."
It also, I mean, Star Trek I mean, nobody knew it was going to be this huge, gigantic franchise with 15 shows. Like they're just making Star Trek. The whole idea is that this is an evolution of 1950s sci-fi, where it's like the one lone ship out there exploring the universe. Kirk says there's only 12 like her, at some point, and it decreases. It decreases the specialness of that ship if everybody looks the same, right? So the idea of each one having their own insignia, that's a completely normal thing, that like ships have their own patches, units.
I was
going to
say it's a thing, right?
It's a thing, yeah. And so that's something that a post World War II, pre-Vietnam or during Vietnam audience would have no problem understanding.
Yeah, it made sense.
Like, oh yeah, we're on the Enterprise. That's the Enterprise logo. Got it. We're on the Defiant. That's the Defiant logo. Got it. It doesn't change. And that idiot who wrote that article that StarTrek.com keeps posting, he mistakes the fact that it's right here, because this is where in the U.S. military, this is where you put like your flight wings or your jump wings or your combat infantry badge or whatever you put, right? He mistakes that as like, oh, I'm a Starfleet qualified astronaut, essentially. And he's a moron, and I strenuously dislike him as a person.
Well, I don't go that far. I'm sure he's... I'm sure he's
pictures. I'm sure he's a perfectly lovely person.
Well, I'm just playing pictures of his daughter. I'm just
playing a character. I'm sure he's a perfectly fine person. But when it comes to Star Trek, he needs to shut up.
Thing, though, I'll say that.
Well, I like the idea. I don't know. I like the idea of the shape, the overall shape, kind of like defining Starfleet, but then like customizations per ship, like that kind of thing really speaks to me. I love the military patches for that. You look at them and they're like, some are so goofy and they have the weird like squadron names and silly logos and mottos and stuff. I love that.
Yeah.
And since Earth military culture has dominated future space and the Federation, you would figure that one would go right along with it.
And in the motion picture, the novelization of the motion picture, Gene Roddenberry wrote the foreword, or is the foreword or the preface or whatever it is. And he explains that, after Kirk's 5-year mission, after the Enterprise 5-year mission, the Enterprise logo was adopted by Starfleet as like the main logo, because in TOS that isn't Starfleet's logo. It's kind of like a weird like a weird like D sort of thing, like like a weird arrowhead, kind of looks like this, but reverse, I guess, kind of looks like this. And you can see it when they go to star bases and stuff like that. And each different group of Starfleet officers has their own badge. Like if you work for Starfleet Command, you have like basically like it looks like a flower, like a sunflower sort of thing. Anyway.
No, you're right. I remember all that stuff from the old series, and it didn't tie together much, but I guess they've sort of tried to streamline that the lore and whatnot.
Yeah.
Mike Okuda got into it with us about that, which was really funny. But he ended up being on our side because the thing that Roddenberry wrote, it's like, they adopted the Enterprise one Starfleet wide because it was the only ship that returned, right? Everybody else, space is hard. Okay, that all makes complete sense. That's pretty cool. And but that's to explain why you don't have to make a new one for every, I get why they don't want to do resin pours and paint and stuff. Sure. It's not. I totally understand.
Well, and it worked. I mean, the visual storytelling makes sense because the Next Generation, you're telling the audience that yes, this is still the same story. This is still the same universe because they use a variation of the same logo, right?
Mm-hmm. I like though that you don't even. It makes more sense in story, right? Because the Enterprise D. Okay, it's not Jim Kirk's. Right. This is later. It's a cruise ship. There's families on board. Okay, so we're all one big happy family. I totally get it from an insignia and heraldry standpoint.
And Okuda was on our side too. He's the guy who made this canon in the first place. He went when they did In the Mirror Darkly, the Enterprise series. They gave the Defiant its own logo.
It's that Enterprise. It's that Starfleet banner you were talking
about.
It is.
It is.
It's on the side of the.
Yeah.
on the side of the ship. So,
But
yeah,
it
I thought,
stylized kind of looks like OD, so he put it on there. So hey, that's
but
awesome.
some fanboy who lives in Los thinks that that's not right.
Of course.
That's
Well, there
the
was
part,
a memo that didn't affect anything.
right? That's the part that just slays me. It's like, look, you know, there's all kinds of real world things about why this didn't happen. That may very well have been the intention, but who cares? It didn't come out. And then the guy who's working on the show tells you, "Oh no, that's wrong." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I just ignore that part because it doesn't fit my theory." It's like, wait, what? Can you do that? I'm going to rob a bank, and when they catch me, just go, "Oh, I forgot armed robbery was against the law. Sorry, here, take it back." But,
wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, also it just looks cool. You know, they got those shirts on, and they got their own little badge. It looks cool.
This, you know what I like about Dave's thing? Just to we have to nip this in the bud, or you and me will talk about this all night long.
Yeah.
But the arrowhead that he designed is just fantastic because it calls back to the TOS, which is why we're honoring Desilu, right? He's got that cool little dot that, like, just I see the Desilu animation at the end of every Star Trek, and that, you know, Paramount is a Gulf Western company. I see all that just from what he did, with that the shape, the letter, and that dot, and it's just. But the best thing is, I've got my nonsense uniform on. Dan Troughton's got his engineering shirt, and you've got your I guess that's a Class B Lido Deck Starfleet massage shirt that you found. But it all looks great on 3 different kinds of things.
Yeah,
so
it looks awesome.
Dave Porter, you're a goddamn genius.
For sure. Notice they didn't give me a gold one. They gave me a silver one. What do you for the blue guy, right? Like, what are you gonna do? I had to get so just a little something to remind me of that I'm second class around here. That's fine.
You got the holodeck one, man. You got the best one out of all of them.
Yeah, built-in tracking chip or something. I know there's something going on.
Whatever, red racist rocket.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, hey, Larry, this week, so Adam is being very cagey about whether he's going to return to our show. Yeah. Adam Freeman of Bad Idea Comics. Larry's been calling him out online as a huckster and a grifter. I think those are the words you use.
I don't know. I would never say that.
Those are the words I use.
You can say that. I did
not
say that.
I've told him, I promise we won't ambush him, or I won't. I don't know if you can. He says he might come, he might not.
Here's the thing, man. Like, that tells us all we need to know, right? I have no ambush for the guy. You need to shoot straight. That's all. And I just, you know, I don't think bailing 10 seconds before you're supposed to go on because you've got family things is cool, unless, you know, hey, we got kids, we understand.
Yeah, it happens.
But you literally have, within 12 hours, you have to reschedule because then it's an emergency. If you just go, oh yeah, I'd love to talk to you, and now I'm not, and then just forget about it.
You know, if he hadn't been on the show so many times and given so many great appearances and stuff, I would be more inclined to write him off. But I like the guy, and he's great on the show, and he's got a lot of good insights. So I want to bring him back in.
I'm not saying you should write him off at all. I love Adam. I just have something to say about his marketing.
Yes,
that's all.
So what I say is, Larry, show up on Thursday, and then we'll just talk about him again if he doesn't show up, and we'll talk. I'm going to talk about all kinds of. I'm just going to go free.
It's a win-win. I'm in for $1 million mailbox
because I had a cancellation of Gene Yang, American-born Chinese. The guy.
Oh yeah. Oh well, he's a big shot.
But he's going to come the following. No, he's coming in the following week. So it's going to be.
That's fantastic.
He's awesome. Sorry. Promo out. Sorry, John.
John will love this because there's a guy who's got a show on Netflix, and he can't go because he's overscheduled, but he's coming next week. What's Adam Freeman doing? New yoga poses? Come on, Adam.
Is it on Netflix or is it on Disney Plus? I don't remember. I think it's on Disney Plus.
It might be Disney Plus. I don't know.
Anyway, it's big time. Like I never expected that graphic novel to get adapted, let alone into like a whole season. It's called American-Born Chinese by Jean Luen Yang, who has written a couple other great graphic novels. Like Dragon Hoops was his most recent one, and he did Superman versus the Klan for DC and The Dragon Prince. He's bringing a lot of like Asian American themes into Disney and into his comics. That American-Born Chinese is a really,
That's a good
really
graphic
interesting,
novel. Yeah.
really great graphic novel.
Bum, 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 bum. You just hear the music, man. I love Eagle Moss.
When is season 2 start, guys? Of
June
Strange New Worlds?
15th.
Okay, that's when
June
I
15th.
leave. I'm leaving town on the 19th, I think, till the end of the month. So you guys might have to do a couple episodes. If I can connect, I will. But I'm going to be on the outer rim, far reaches of the outer rim. So, in the far northern Boise
take care of it.
cluster.
June 15th, I scheduled all of my summer professional learning development to one day, and that's June 15th. I know that's very exciting for everyone.
Why? So you can't watch Star Trek?
Get it over with.
Oh, I
know.
gotcha.
It's just a benefit that I don't have to watch Strange New Worlds.
I'm getting a little worried about Strange New Worlds, to tell you the truth, because there's so much hype.
Because Akiva Goldsman won't shut his fucking mouth.
Well, there's so much hype for the Lower Decks crossover, and I just remember how hammy Anson Mount was, and how Carol Kane is like a comic actress. I just feel like they're trying to add
she's gonna be the same. She's gonna be the same character she was in Schitt's Creek. That's what she's gonna be.
I haven't seen that. I don't know that character.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's just Carol Kane. It's just,
she's funny. Don't get me wrong.
She's great,
but not who I would. If I would have picked her to be on Star Trek, which I wouldn't have guessed, I definitely wouldn't have guessed Chief Engineer. So I look forward to it being interesting if they can do something fun and interesting.
Well, I'm all for like the quirky, funny Chief Engineer guy.
Female engineer is a good idea too.
My fear is that they're going to take Nitaro it and just have the best character in the whole show come up once every 3 episodes. But that's probably what they'll do. That's me. I'm just being a pessimist,
And they're going to do that thing. They're going to kill the drummer, right?
I hope they do that. That's going to be fantastic.
I think that was a good
drummer. The last season, give us Scotty, right? That'll be hilarious. He's always in the background doing like voiceovers. You never see him.
The way they teased him makes
me think last season you get him on screen. That'll be fantastic.
What do you mean killed the drummer?
In Spinal Tap?
There's
a rotating drummer, right?
I thought you meant like a person named Drummer. I'm like,
like
I think that blind guy's name wasn't Drummer. It was like Bruce or something.
I think it's a cool idea if they just keep cycling through engineers.
That's a fun idea. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I just wish they would fucking stop jerking us around and be like, yeah, it's a TOS reboot. Deal with it. I would respect that more than I would with this bullshit. Like, oh, well, we're coming up on Kirk. It's like,
I've swung around to this, guys. Here's the thing: they don't have to, and should not acknowledge it that it is an alternate universe, because it's an alternate universe, and to them, it's the universe. It's just how things are, and so just like we just have to accept that we're in this sort of.
Akiva Goldsman is in all these fucking interviews, and he's like, well, we're going to bend canon and everyone's okay with it. Like, shut the fuck up, Akiva Goldsman. You're the worst.
That interview he gave is what turned me around to Dan's point of view. I'm like, well, if they don't give a goddamn shit, I'm not going to either now.
Yeah.
But,
no, you're right.
But I wasn't that it's not that I don't care about Star Trek or the storytelling or anything. I don't care about listening to these guys talk about Star Trek. Because it's just nonsense that annoys me. It doesn't add to my entertainment. It makes me angry. So I'm like, hey, you know what? It's an alternate universe. Okay, now let's go. Can I please have some glowing green energy hands crushing the ship? Can I please have Space Lincoln? Like all the stuff you guys didn't like the princess thing. I'm like, fucking give me 3 episodes of that.
I feel like that's where we're headed.
Star Trek, right? This is some crazy shit that doesn't make any sense, but is really fun.
I am glad that they're not afraid to do that and to mix it up. Hope they'll give you this high drama moments. It's just I still can't get over what Spock knows that he shouldn't know. That's just a big problem to me.
There's a fireplace in the captain's quarters. He does briefings by making eggs. Like it's fucking alternate universe. So I'm fine. I'm with Chris Sagasag.
Sagasag.
It's an alternate universe. Great.
And it doesn't matter. And I also take the approach that like Star Trek continuity has now become essentially convoluted because they've done so many things in the past and the future, so that you could take the Marvel Comics approach, which is just like, whatever. We keep the stuff that's fun, we'll keep, and the stuff that's not, we'll just sort of sweep under the rug and forget about it and just keep making it fun. I guess that's the way you do it.
Walker said that to me. Is like, why do you not care about continuity with Doctor Who? Like, you don't give a shit. Like, why do you care in Star Trek? And I'm like, because Doctor Who acknowledges it every other episode. Timey wimey wibbly wobbly, and then they just do it, right? Oh yeah, did that happen? Okay, and then they do the episode. Like Star Trek is like paralyzed with oh my god, we have to do the pon farr at the thing, and so Rick is here, and Spock's got a sister, and like, just do a fun story, man. Don't worry about all that other shit.
I agree.
I agree with Chris Sagasag though. The Gorns hurt me the most. And not just like I could have dealt with a retcon of the Gorns, but it's the aliens. It's the aliens.
Oh, it's so clearly aliens. Like it's not even close.
It's really like gross in a way because I don't know that a modern audience, like somebody who's new to this, even knows those references necessarily. We take it for granted. Everybody knows that it's an aliens ripoff because it's such a blatant ripoff. But I don't think everybody necessarily knows that.
Also, the original aliens, imagery and the way I don't know, whatever you call it, like the way it's drawn, is a very specific like he was going for like rape metaphors essentially, right? And it's like I don't want any of that in Star Trek at all. Like
Giger's biomechanical artwork, you're 100% right. It's all about the like just body shaming and crazy violations and all that stuff. And so yes, that's exactly what you want in a horror movie, right? But like if you dumb that down to TV, then it's not an homage anymore. You're not paying honor to the thing. You're just ripping it right off and making it shitty.
It's aliens done by people who have only seen Alien vs Predator.
Yeah, that's
like
and I go like Born culture could have and still could be really interesting facet of Star Wars or Star Trek. And I hope that then when they explore, like, because we've only seen the young Gorns, really, I want to see what the adult, like, leadership cast of the Gorn world is like, and they better be slow. That's all I can say. If they're not slow, I got a big problem.
I mean, it's Star Trek, very easy. Okay, as they mature, their metabolism slows down.
It makes perfect sense. It would be great.
And blah, blah, blah. Now you get the man in the rubber suit. Done.
Yeah, and they're like 300 years old, or who knows how old they are, whatever. Right, there's so many things you could do, and reptile culture, and make them something that's not just Klingons again, and not the Borg. Give us another, like, old school Star Trek thing, but flesh it out a little bit more. They could do that. Yeah, but it wasn't just like making them fast as little kids. It was the blatant stealing of shots, having like a fake Newt like character in that episode. Like, what?
Right. So yeah, I would love Strange New Worlds if it was fun. I
like that second trailer. I like the second trailer. I know John was kind of like, but all that cringy cheese, man, that is a giant component of my joy from Star Trek.
That's great.
That
and the Kirk Lawn romance?
No, that's bullshit. Fuck that.
Well, that's misdirection. I mean,
they cannot possibly going there.
They're not that. I don't think.
Just having them meet and then they mention in the trailer Khan Noonien Singh and that she's a descendant. How does that? But
that's why this has to be like. There's no other explanation than it is an alternate. Timeline.
Well, I hope they lean into it, and I hope 3/4 of the way through, like episode 8, they just fucking kill Jim Kirk. Just kill him. And then you have 2 more episodes going, no, that's not a joke. He's not coming back. He's DEAD. And then show me that show. But they don't have those kind of balls.
I feel like
no, they don't.
Pike's big theme is that he knows his destiny, yet he has to be upbeat towards it. So like to me, it only makes sense if somehow that gets thwarted, like his destiny gets thwarted and it becomes different,
Yeah.
and it's recognized something as
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be great.
All
Be like,
bets are
yeah,
off
here's the
now.
divergence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, look, I like Anson Mount. I really like Anson Mount. I think Rebecca Romaine does very well with the 2 lines per episode she gets. You know, I can't stand Spock. I love the pilot girl, whatever her name is.
Ortegas.
Ortegas. I can never
breakout
remember her name.
character.
Really, you really don't like
Yeah.
Spock.
No, I can't stand him. No, it's possibly the main reason I don't like the show. Is Ethan Peck. I really, and making his voice deeper doesn't solve it. I
thought I would hate him the most, but I probably hate him the least. If I'm not going to say I love him.
I think I'm going to give it to him because he was so bad in the beginning.
That's
and
fair.
Now it's like, okay, he's playing the women Spock, you know? All right. Who knows? He could be.
It's nothing against him personally.
He could have been telling jokes. That's all good.
It's nothing against him personally.
I'm fine.
Just, you know.
I'm glad that he wasn't in the movie. Like if you go, you know, Leonard Nimoy and he says Zachary Quinto's me, and he hands him the ears or the crown. Okay, and then this guy's doing that. Okay, I'm fine.
I actually like Zach Quinto.
I was going to say you like really Quinto.
Yeah, I love him.
I love that whole cast.
I don't see any discernible. I couldn't tell you the difference between him and this. I guess it's been so long since I saw any of that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. If you're not Nimoy and you're doing the best you can, we'll squint. And
you're all in the shadow of Nimoy, right? They're all swimming in his wake in one degree or another. And they can only,
sad.
They can only take the character so far.
He just look, and again, he looks so young and like scrawny, and he has no chin whatsoever. I got 5 of them. He's got none of them. You know, it's like, you know, Nimoy had this very prominent face. He had a very prominent stature. Like he was a man. Like he was. There's a reason all the ladies fell in love with Spock. Right. And, you know, and Ethan Peck, he's just like this little, he reminds me of my little 10th graders, just trying to pretend like he knows what he's doing. I think anyway, nothing against him personally.
That's why they had to get rid of Lieutenant Kyle, because standing next to Ethan Peck and making him look like Hercules, it's like, oh my God, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Thanks for putting Sagasag stuff up, because he's killing it. Khan was found earlier in this universe.
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Khan was killed in 1996. Okay, that actually makes sense.
That would
he's not Adolf Hitler anymore because they got him. Like, you know, in 300 years, okay, you're related.
I do like how they're setting up Anson Mount's lady friend as the antagonist. She's in the courtroom. She's the antagonist going after Rebecca Romaine. So I do like that. I think that's a fun Star Trek tradition.
Where are they going? Where are they going with the whole genetic engineering in the Star Trek?
I don't know, but I don't like it
because it doesn't make really any sense to me. You would think genetic engineering would be a foundation of what they're doing, and like they used it willy nilly in like the first episode to like make people look alien and pass alien DNA detectors. So they obviously have very advanced technology, but they haven't cured male pattern baldness, and they haven't, you know, like they haven't.
I'm allergic to rednecks,
and they haven't cured Mbenga's daughter's diseases or any of that stuff.
You know what it is?
Oh yeah, she's still in the warp core or whatever it is. I don't know. Sorry.
Coming back to your sitcom thing that we talked about earlier. It's clearly going to be the A and B story between they have to, because Khan is all that eugenics shit.
Yeah.
It's all going to dovetail around.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't even really put that together.
Absolutely.
But I honestly think at the end of it, Price is going to begrudgingly go, yeah, okay, I like this season, because we're all talking about just, you know, the trailer and some interviews. So of course it looks like horse shit, right?
True.
Like all the stuff that you do in a trailer is not for people like us, right? Like we're excited about it because we're starving for some morsel of Star Trek, but trailers are for regular people. Like my wife and kid watched that and they went, yeah, okay, maybe I'll watch that with Daddy this year. And so that's a win for that trailer. And
I like everything. I liked all the casting pretty much, and I liked most of the stories, 80% of the stories, which is great. There were good ones. There were a couple not so great ones, but they made a big miss with the Captain Kirk casting.
Yeah.
Well, your buddy Rick last week so hates that guy so much.
Having Kirk in it at all is a giant mistake.
Huh.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because
anything more than a super brief cameo, like the way they did Scotty or something like that.
Well, but here's my point. You have Anson Mount, who's like U.S. grade A, the first guy who looks like he belongs fronting a Star Trek show. Who even looks like he belongs in a Star Trek show since Christopher McDonald in yesterday's Enterprise. That's the level of guy that you're looking at. And so you can't bring Jim Kirk into that because Jim Kirk's a cooler guy than Pike. But now you've said it's the Mandalorian Boba Fett problem from the other way, right?
Yeah.
It's like they made Anson Mount into this year's Captain Kirk. So you bring Captain Kirk in and he has to be an idiot because he's not the star of the show. So now what have you done to Captain Kirk? Right? They just should have pulled somebody else out that we all would be like, oh, that's Commodore Leslie as a lieutenant or something.
Like literally anybody.
It could have literally.
And they made such a big point to call out the difference in leadership styles between Pike and Kirk in that one episode. That I think he is the foil. And like I said, I really do think they are in the modern day. Captain Kirk is not a cool guy anymore. He's a sexist, uptight, like braggadocious.
No, he isn't. Like, have you seen the old Star Treks?
Well, I'm just saying his womanizing attitude and all that.
When does he womanize?
Well, he's had a few.
No. Dan's right.
Dalliances.
Dan's right in that this is exactly how pop culture thinks of Captain Kirk.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
not me.
This is exactly how morons like Akiva Goldsman think about Captain Kirk because they haven't seen the show. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So yeah, like he's right. Like a Captain Kirk is not a for lack of a better terminology, a woke hero, right? So they're making Anson Mount the hero, which is awesome. Anson Mount is fantastic as a leading hero type guy, right? He's a great captain. But why are you even broaching the subject of we have to put him as a foil against Captain Kirk? We have to kill the past. I mean, Kylo Ren was wrong. You don't kill the past. Did everyone miss that part of The Last Jedi? All right.
Yes.
Moving on.
It's
a great idea. Sagaseg's crushing it today. Yeah,
he totally is.
Styles. Bringing Captain Styles.
I thought his Martin Landau. There is an alternate universe where Martin Landau was Spock. I think for sure. Like he was probably the second choice. Who else would it be? I can't think of anybody else who could have done it. Martin Landau could have maybe done it.
That would be an interesting choice.
Tony Randall. Maybe young Tony Randall.
Yeah, I would John. Chris is just crushing it. Captain Styles, exactly. But I saw him post that, and I like, who do you cast for that? A young James B. Speaking.
Fucking kid. Cast the same guy they did for Kirk. Done. He was like a little
true, right? Why not?
That's the same guy.
I almost can't wait
for the same damn character. Just don't call him Kirk. Call him Styles. Be like, okay, done.
Are we excited for a day though when like the deep fake stuff is so good that they can just be like, fuck, we're putting Kirk back in. We're putting Kirk in this series. Like the real. We're doing this 5th season of Star Trek, and it looks exactly like the original series. All the same actors, all the same thing, new plots, new character. Who wouldn't? Are you telling me you wouldn't watch that?
It would totally depend on the story.
Are you telling me you wouldn't eagerly anticipate the first episode of something like that?
Absolutely not. I think that's an abortion.
It's something
I would watch it. I would watch it out of morbid curiosity, and if it was good, I would embrace it.
If anything's good,
I want to see Batman 66 with new episodes. I would love to see that kind of stuff. And
let me put it this way.
Perfect.
Let me put it this way. I love Indiana Jones. Okay, I love Indiana Jones. He's my professional hero. He's my personal hero. I have a fucking Indiana Jones leather jacket, Indiana Jones fedora. I have a fucking gas bag from this guy. I love Indiana Jones. I am dreading this movie, Dial of Destiny,
Well, Crystal
because
Skull,
apparently
yeah.
like a half hour of it is digital de-aging Harrison Ford. And like I
As
am
long as they do better,
dreading
yeah.
it.
As long as they did that, if they did it well, that would be great. Like
I hope it's done well.
Like
I mean,
Irishman was awful. Old
Irishman
man
was
De
bad.
Niro
Look,
at 40 years.
what was the Ant-Man? The Ant-Man was done really well. That first Ant-Man movie was done really well.
Oh yeah, Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas and what's his face. But literally, I'm dreading watching this movie and just having to deal with. All right, everyone, pretend it's 1940s Indiana Jones again. Like,
I'll tell you, you're going to be fine, because
point.
if you think that the same reason that Ant-Man, Michael Douglas and Ant-Man was successful is the same reason this is going to be successful.
I mean, I hope so. My Disney stock keeps going down, but they better,
here's the thing,
get on it.
The entire audience knew what Michael Douglas looked like, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, because of Streets of San Francisco. So it was impressed in everybody's brain. That's what he looks like. The same reason the Tony Stark Iron Man thing worked, because everybody has Back to School memorized, and you know what 23-year-old RDJ looks like.
Yeah.
And they went, yeah, that fits my memory. Is it technically right? I don't know. It's just for the length of the scene. Yeah, that works. And a half an hour and a 2.5 hour movie for all setup that here's some backstory. I'm going to be good, because we all know what Harrison Ford looks like, and so does Disney. And so they get a scene. No, you got to fix it under his eyes there. Oh, this is right. Oh, this will look good.
Well,
and
they have perfect reference material.
That was the thing I read. The one article I did read for you, John, is all about they have so much stuff from his face that all they had to do was just match up the dots, and there you go.
Right.
So I think of all things, this one's going to be fine.
I dream to hope.
That's the least of my worries, that bit, because the Crystal Skull, when that came out, was at a time when it could have and should have been a lot better than that movie was. That was a mess, not fun to watch. The special effects were not great. It was just disappointing. Like, even the chase scenes were not even as good as, any of the indie movies. It just it looked green screeny. It just didn't feel good at all.
Well, Crystal Skull has it has the prequel problem where they're trying, and it's not it's not
too much LaBeouf.
It's not lost on me that it's George Lucas in both cases, where they're trying to do this thing, but the technology is 89% there. That's the feeling I get watching Crystal Skull.
Yeah, that's the problem with
I don't know if I'm right. I'm just saying it's the feeling I get.
Maybe.
Because the prequels, it's the same sort of thing. Like, now they have fucking a giant room VR fucking machine, right? And then when they did the prequels, they were still using little cardboard boxes painted green, So whatever. Fuck George Lucas.
I love SAG. Cowboys and Aliens should have been better film. I don't see how it could have been.
Cowboys and Aliens should have been a franchise. There should have been 30 of those movies. I don't see how it could have been
better, man.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
It should have been received.
Favreau, right? That was his big miss. But I feel like he learned a zillion lessons off of that thing, and then just came back strong.
It's Daniel Craig's best movie.
I don't think to be honest, I don't think I ever saw it. It looked pretty cool, but one that just slipped me by.
It's one of those where I think it got immediately sent to TNT land.
Yeah.
TBS, afternoons. And I was like, what? This sounds stupid. All right, I'll watch it, And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome.
It's a great concept. And Favreau, as a director overall of stuff, his Elf is such a great movie. Elf is a masterpiece to me. A Christmas movie. It's up there with all of the great Christmas movies.
Agreed.
Agreed. So
that's a watch for us. Every Christmas. I
want to do just a quick detour. So there's a new reality show for all of you in the audience. If anyone out there is stuck watching reality TV with their significant other 6 out of 7 nights a week. I have a new one that you can both enjoy and you can both watch, and it'll be awesome. It's called Stars on Mars. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's all these reality stars plus Marshawn Lynch are stuck in this biodome where they're pretending like they're living on Mars. And the host is William Shatner, and he pops in on the video screen, and it's awesome. It's so awesome. McLovin is one of the characters, or I guess people. I guess they're real people. I don't know. Lance Armstrong, one of the young
not Neil.
One of the young girls, like, oh my god, we have a real astronaut.
Did you say Lance Armstrong?
Yeah, Lance Armstrong.
Wow, he's made it back to TV.
Well, he addresses that in the first episode.
Okay.
He's like, basically says like, this is how far it's gotten, you know. But she's like, oh, Neil Armstrong, you know. She says Lance, but she's thinking Neil Armstrong. Anyway, it's a great show, and your significant other who loves reality TV will be able to tell you who all the people are, and you can just sit there. And the habitat is called Hab 1701. It's really awesome, and it looks like the that Val Kilmer Mars movie, Mission to Mars. Is that the Val Kilmer one?
That's the other one. Red Planet.
Was that the one with the killer robot?
It looks like those suits, the white and orange suits. Yeah. I'm getting my movies confused.
Well, anyway. White and orange is The Martian. I mean, come on.
Okay. Well, what's
whatever.
Sorry, I didn't mean to leave. I meant to show this.
Whatever.
What streaming platform is that on?
It's on
it's Fox, right?
Hulu. Yeah. Well, I watched it on Hulu.
Just so I can studiously avoid it. I can't.
I keep seeing the ads, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this all at once because this looks like my dream.
It's pretty great.
I would be yelling at everybody all the time. Put your fucking spacesuit on.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go make corn.
Yeah.
Like
Marshawn Lynch is the mission commander of the first episode, and it's everything you could ever dream.
And do they have to like grow potatoes or things like?
Like the first challenge is like they have to go fix a satellite in a windstorm, or not a satellite, like an antenna in like a Martian windstorm, and like I don't know how the fuck they did it. I think they just closed off and like just had all this shit whipping around, but it's pretty great.
Fans.
Is this what we've fallen to with the lack of Star Trek? This is what we're.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to help the audience. I'm helping the audience help myself.
IDIC, man. You know, every once in a while, you can't. There's going to be Star Trek, and then maybe your significant other has a reality show thing, and then maybe your friend won't shut up about AI, and so it's not all Star Trek, man.
It's not always.
Ian Hubert, Dynamo Dream, we can talk.
And if anybody plays Star Trek Fleet Commander, I need your help. You need to join my fleet so I can get these stupid bonuses and make it to the next level.
Well, if you have like a screen name or something for them to join, we could put it up.
I don't know what it is.
Find that out. We'll put it up next time.
What's the name of that game again? Because look at you, Chris. He's so funny. I saw your plea for help. So
it's called Fleet Commander. It's
like a mobile app thing.
Yeah, it's keep hitting the button and get that dopamine hit. That's
not like I have to keep track of ship stats and
not at all.
What's it called again? Fleet Command?
Fleet Commander, I think.
I'll sign up and then I'll text you and you can.
You'll like it. My fleet name is Cutler.
So Steve Ukrin is asking he's making a request, I guess. So I do have one AI tip for everybody out there.
No, so you've misunderstood.
No, that's not
not AI again.
I know. I'm going to say this. If you use Adobe Creative Suite, download the Photoshop beta from the Creative Suite and check out the generative fill option. Because I was skeptical, but very impressed by its ability to like circle something and say like, get rid of this flowers and give me a bucket of fish. And it will just kind of do it for you. It was very like in perspective, shadows, blending into your photo and looking right. Pretty impressive.
Whose artwork does it steal in order to do that?
They have Adobe Firefly. Their generative AI uses a library that they have sourced. They call it ethically sourced AI. They have paid for and licensed every image that they use in their library to generate.
I was kidding, but that's a good answer.
Yeah. So there you go. And I just say, I've never seen that. This AI thing has changed my everyday, the way I do almost everything online, all my work, the thumbnails I do here, the background pattern you're looking at right here. Like, it's been a productivity booster. I feel like it's not something to be afraid of. I think it's something to be embraced. That's all. So I'm going to keep embracing it.
I think if you do it ethically, I think then, yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, if you write a story and you're plagiarizing the person's story, it can be the best story in the world. It's just not ethical, right? If you use AI to create something, just be conscious. Just be conscious that, there are creative people out there that might be on the wrong end of that.
My guy Ian Hubert that I talked about, Larry, in his most recent tutorial, he talked about AI and how he thought you could use it in a thoughtful, ethical way. Mm-hmm. And it was like, for hobbyists, it's different than pros necessarily. But if you're looking to use it as like reference material, or you're making a fast food restaurant, you need a menu in the background that you can't even see, like things like that seems reasonable. As he put it, to it's almost better than if you were to go online and just steal pictures that somebody took and posted online. It's taking all that stuff and putting it through this diffusion lens and giving you sort of like the sum total of those things.
So the through line of your argument, right? It's better than outright stealing because you can't tell who you stole from.
Well, I mean, stealing versus influence versus, I don't know. I don't think
they don't have rights to that stuff.
I don't think it's as cut and dried as that. Well, I mean, it depends on the library. It depends. The algorithm and the source material are two different things.
But that's the analogy is just like, well, you shouldn't murder people, but it's fine if you're a soldier, right?
That's kind of true, though. No,
but is it ethical? Is it correct? Is it moral? Sure,
I don't know, but it's the way of the world.
I'm saying your argument. Yeah, that's all true, but I'm not going to sign off on that. I like having skills, right? I like using my Photoshop 5.5 and making it work through my sweat and tears.
But you still have to know those. It's just like saying, though, like, I liked Photoshop 1.0 and I don't like these fancy filters they have now. It's kind of similar.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying all my joy is replacing the background. If you just do lasso tool and go, fill that in, I'm like, all right, I used to have fun doing that shit, but now I don't.
Well, where it's also used,
where
I'm using it
glad
every day.
It works for you.
When I want to mask out backgrounds and stuff, though, it's AI that's doing that in the products already. That's helping to do that. So, like, I go, that's where it helps. That's grunt work to me, doing all the outlining and cutting something out. Like, if I could just blank out the background from something using AI, I don't see that as a loss in any way. All I see that is time that I can spend being creative, more creative. So,
fair enough.
Revel. Jimmy Cavanis likes to hit his dick with a hammer. Doesn't mean that's for us.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Come on, I'm just taking a shot at Jimmy.
The company Revel, RAVELL, just released their 60th anniversary Gemini capsule. Looks pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of having to stop myself from just clicking buy now.
Is it like a model kit?
Yeah.
Revel.
Looks pretty awesome.
I just read it's the 60th anniversary of AMT's Klingon kit.
Anniversary. Trying to stop myself.
Do it.
It's not going well.
You know, it's cool. I have a ton of model paints now and rattle cans and brushes. Nice. It's all Walker's stuff because he's printing out shit like a crazy man. And I'm like, I went into our art place. I was getting leather straps because he's making a medieval lightsaber hilt, which is just
that's
great.
Awesome.
And so he wants to have the handle wrapped, right? Like a batleth or something. So I go to get leather scraps from a place and I look and there's this aisle where all the model kits are. I'm like, I wonder what if they got a Batmobile or something, right? It's empty except for one little like Apache helicopter or some kind of Huey or something. I don't know. Like an aisle, shelves, nothing on it except this lonely model kit. And they're like, yeah, we're not doing models anymore. we're gonna be stocking all 3D printer supplies. And I went, well, that's what the buggy whip guys
That's
thought
it. That's
when
it.
the cars
Yeah,
came, right?
Totally.
It's
Wow.
like, and so I'm like, that happened in my house without me realizing it. You know what I mean? We have shit everywhere, but it's
I was thinking
we
about
made
getting a
our own
3D
kit.
printer. That's on my list. I have. It's either a 3D printer or a Windows computer with a hot graphics card, a super hot graphics card in it.
Well, there, I just realized my source of like disdain for this AI, because this doesn't exist. But you know, as Boba Fett. Well, wait, let's see what we got printed here. Well, you know, like this. You know, you could do this. Yeah, there's Hawkman, right?
Oh damn!
You could do this in your thing, but we printed this out, and it's got corks and screws holding it together. I don't know. I'm really into like making something that exists because we did something, instead of this exists because I said, hey, give me some city thing with some clouds and click. And
well, I don't. That just if
what
that's
do you do with your extra time, man?
If this is the end all and be all, dude, I make custom thumbnails for the show. I don't generate a picture and throw it up. I'll use that to make elements, and I'll combine them and Photoshop them together and try and make like thematically something that I could not make in the same amount of time. So I don't know. I'm not going to I'm not going to, I don't feel like I need to justify it, but
I was going to apologize because you absolutely don't. And I was going to say that new thing with the racist rocket you did was excellent, because I saw there's you in the chair, and then there's the back piece, and then there's the front.
Well, there's no AI involved in this piece except for the background, except for the Cloud City behind.
But I mean, whatever you did when you broke it down, I was like, oh, that's not just some thing he added in. That's the thing you had to build. And so I get it. You're just building with different resources.
I mean, I didn't build the model, but I had to build it. Yeah, I had to animate it. I had to take the pictures. I had to split it up. I had to make all this amazing, good fun for the kids.
I did want to ask you.
Hi, Larry.
It's too bad Dantron left, because I was going to ask him. What's this Luna thing that you posted? Because that I think has some. I understand the value of that.
Okay, Luna. That is another AI based thing, but it lets you take videos and photos and turn them into 3D models that you can then use. Like instead of, there's a lot of photo scanning apps out there.
I saw that Humboldt County statue thing that you did, which I feel was like a bait and switch marketing, because Humboldt County means something different to me than everyone else. So that was not a representative statue. It was very nice and clean, didn't smell like weed or hobos. But is that the photogrammetry thing where you take 3 or 4 elevations and then it just stitches it all together?
Yes. So yeah, that's what this is. So like, I went to this thing and I walked around it, and I took a video of me walking around it at a couple different angles, and then it takes it and it literally like uses AI to just figure out from those pictures. Here, I'll take away the color, and you can see what it sort of sees my car in the background there, but it concentrates on the model, and then it can use that to make a and then it generates like a perfect fly through, and you can even change the angle of the camera on the fly through and make it do custom moves and stuff for like product demos or whatever you want. Or
can you take that out for an STL and make it an STL file.
So you download in different files in different resolutions. I'd use GLTF. Take it into Blender. You could take it into and there's different programs that will let you convert into different things. So you could take the thing is, these are pretty high res. Even the low ones are a lot of polygons. But it ends up looking perfect and capturing the light of where you're at. Like like if I get rid of the background, you can capture just this.
Wow.
and you get all of the, like, this is like represents the natural lighting that was there that day. It's sort of baked into the texture of the model. So I wait for overcast days and I go out and
for a more diffused, like,
yeah, because otherwise there's harsh shadows on things that will stick to the models, and the shadows won't move and it won't look real.
But you could export that and you could print out a little 6-inch size thing.
For sure. You could export it, yeah, in various formats, right? Yeah.
How do you not have action figures of your whole family at this point?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no 3D printer for me, so.
Oh, okay. You got me confused with that. Chris, give me the STL file, but you're gonna put it in Blender.
So yeah, I use them to then go into Blender and animate things and whatever. Like, yeah, I showed you
Flame and Carrot. That's cool.
Yeah, I showed you this one before, Larry, that I did.
The castle, yeah.
Right. So I got this in my backyard, and I did the castle, and then I did, something
Hector's talking about your stuff. He missed the end of it. It's Luna.ai, right? Is that what it is? He asked for the software. Do you know? Did we lose Dan?
No, sorry. I just got an emergency transmission from Starfleet that I.
Oh yeah. Well, it looks like we're at.
Yeah. Oh boy, my dog just broke down my door.
We're just about there, but I wanted to wait a minute.
Buddy.
Yeah, to close that loop. Once you, I think I had this. I thought I had this. Yeah. So once you scan the thing, you can then bring it. Right, and then I just take that stuff and then I'll composite it in OBS so I can do it live. I use Blender and I render it from the middle to the back and from the front to the middle, and I sandwich myself in the middle of the layers.
So that last piece, you were rotating the scan around you holding the actual object, right?
Yeah, I have that in here.
Were you holding something 3D generated too?
I was holding the thing that I then generated.
Yeah, okay. That was really cool. I liked it. That was a good one.
I spent all day.
I can see how all of this is valuable, man. I kind of come across a little grumpy. I'm sorry. It's honestly, can I tell you what it is? I fell 2 feet with my legs in a ladder, and my kids saved me from breaking my leg, so I'm kind of like in low key pain right now.
Oh no.
Mimi's painting my office and the stairs that go down, and I did one of those things where, like, cutting granite, I would never have done this because this is a thing, the end of the shift, right? Everybody's always trying to I'm thinking about that beer I'm going to have and that turkey sandwich. I'm done, but you have half an hour left of work. So you still try to do something, and that's when everything falls on you and get crushed and killed. So Mimi was in the middle of something, and I was like, "Hey, Walker, I got to get this thing down for Mommy. Just can you stand behind the ladder? I'm going to hand this to you, right?" And so I put the top of the ladder on, but only one side of it was against the door frame, and the other one could wiggle in the door frame. But I figure my kid's behind me stepping on it, so it's not going to go, right? But I didn't tell him what to do, and he didn't know what I was doing. And so it wasn't that bad a fall. It just came down and I just dropped onto these stairs. But my legs went through the ladder, and now my body weight's on the ladder and crushing against the stairs. But my kid sees that happening and just grabs the end of the ladder and picks it up as I'm falling. So I'm like, you can't put your fucking foot on there, but you can do some kind of ninja thing so I don't break my legs. That's amazing. So anyway, that's why I was like, grumpy. I hate everything because I have a small bruise on my shin.
Well, that story of harrowing household danger, guys, tells us we're at the end of our show. I hope we had a good time today talking about, we just had a freewheeling time talking about whatever the hell we wanted to talk about today.
I didn't even get into Sean Ryan and the Night Agent. Did you see that news? Can I say real fast? I know
sure.
Go.
Yeah, we got time.
He just got paid like he created a TV show and did 8 episodes, which is great. Except the Netflix ratings, they released their hours, and it was something insane, like 61 million hours. And he did it as like, basically I did a show that got watched like 8 Super Bowls in a row. And and I didn't get anything for that. And so it's seriously like the NFL played 8 Super Bowls in a row and paid everybody like they were on week 3 games.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you're doing the job, but like this is up next level, and that's why everybody is on strike. Anyway, that was cool to see those numbers getting.
Ensign Gus is telling me I gotta go, so see you guys later. Thank you again, Dave Porter, for this little magnificent little what have you. And I bought the Gemini capsule. All right, see you later.
Okay, Joe. Well, we'll see you.
Nice.
John, we'll see you next week. Wait, we might as well just end the show here. But so we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific Earth time. But John, Dr. John, where?
On the non-plagiarized, non-AI internet.
When I was a kid, gangs invaded our neighborhood, and they made life pretty tough on the rest of us. So I decided the best way to fight a gang was to join one. Well, not just anyone, but the biggest one in the city. Well, these guys taught me a lot, like how to survive in tough situations, how to handle almost anything or anyone. Joining a gang was probably the best thing I ever did. And after all these years, the old gang is still going strong. So join our gang, the Boy Scouts.